It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio with us today. Cottonwood Police Officer Roger Scareman studio. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a little while since we've had you in.
Yes, it has.
I got to thinking last week that school is starting up. I know, it's early. Most of the time for us when we were kids, it was Labor Day
After
weekend.
Labor Day, yes.
After Labor Day weekend, then we went back to school. But around here, it starts earlier. As a matter of fact, I believe Winslow went back to school last week. So over the next, I'd say about a month, probably, between here and Prescott and Chino Valley and across Yavapai County and across the state, kids are going to be going back to school. But our kids in Cottonwood, they go back Wednesday.
That's correct.
They're back at school on Wednesday. So I thought it'd be good to have Roger come in and talk a little bit about traffic laws, because we tend to forget, and it's easy to forget what the laws are when it comes to school zones, school buses, kids back and forth from school, and all that good stuff that's going to be going on over the next, I don't know, what, 8-9 months they're in school, right?
Yep.
10 months? Yeah. So let's start with that. Let's start about how is tomorrow, Wednesday, August 3rd, going to be played out for the Cottonwood Police Department when school kicks off?
Cottonwood Police Department is going to have extra patrols out in the area of the school zones in the morning and in the afternoon. We're actually going to be bringing extra officers in off a grant that we got from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. That's going to be paying for the officers to be out there. And our job is more to be visible. We want people to see us and try to use that as a reminder, hey, I need to slow down and just take it easy, and because you never know what's going to happen around the schools. And especially the first couple of days, we get so much traffic. Everyone's trying to drop off their kid at the same time. Traffic gets backed up, people get impatient, and then disaster can happen.
I guess maybe something we should bring up right away. First thing we got to think about tomorrow morning as we're getting up to take the kids to school is we need more time.
Exactly.
Right? I think that's something we only need about 5 minutes. We'll just drop them off and go. But sometimes it can get backed up there at school, especially on the first day.
Exactly. Especially, in the first couple days of school, a lot of parents want to take their kids, and parking lots are only so big, and it just really gets backed up. So give yourself plenty of time to get the kids to school.
I mean, think about it. If it's your child's first day in kindergarten, you're going to want to go there. You want to take some pictures and stuff like that. That stuff happens. It's tradition.
Yes.
So so give yourself extra time. I'd say probably for the first week at least, until everybody kind of gets in the flow of things on how the school zone works. Let's talk about the school zone, because that's going to be a hotbed of activity over the next several months. So how should we be acting when we're in a school zone?
When you're in the area of the schools, just remember that students can be unpredictable. The kids are excited. They're seeing their friends for the first time all summer. They're going to be running around. Sometimes they may dart into traffic without any warning at all. So make sure you give yourself plenty of room to be able to stop, anticipate what may happen. Be thinking about what could happen. Is this kid going to jump out in front of me? Is he going to cross in the crosswalk, or is he going to dart over before the crosswalk? Just be anticipating what could happen.
I like you. You said the what if. You always have the what if in your head. What if that kid steps off that sidewalk right now? Let's talk about that. Okay, so we're going to have kids in the crosswalk. What does that mean when we pull up and we see kids in the crosswalk?
In the state of Arizona, pedestrian in the crosswalk has the right of way. So you need to give yourself plenty of time, and like I was saying, anticipate, is that kid going to step into the crosswalk without looking? If you see somebody close to the crosswalk, be slowing down, be prepared to stop. Like I said, you never know when it's going to happen.
Speed limit in front of a school.
In Cottonwood, our school zones are actually 25 miles per hour.
Okay.
They used to be 15 miles per hour in front of the schools. They had done some traffic control changes and raised that up to 25. However, in the state of Arizona, you must travel at a speed that is reasonable and prudent. So if you have children right on the side of the roadway, children crossing the roadway, 25 may not even be prudent. You may have to go even slower.
I mean, you see that all the time. You see where the cars are parked, and kids are small. I wasn't a very small kid. I was pretty tall, so they could always see that head bobbing around out there. But kids are small, so they could be in between those cars. They come stepping out, and next thing you know, and who wants that on their conscience?
Exactly.
Who wants to be involved in that?
And remember, the kids they got skateboards, they got scooters, so they may be out there a lot quicker than they would be even on foot.
Mm-hmm. Let's move to that one next then. Okay, so now we got the kids who have been dropped off by mom and dad, say, from their cars right there at the school zones in the schools. And be patient, parents. Be patient in that school zone. Be patient. Some of the kids will be leaving home on their own, headed for school. So what are some of the things we should be thinking about there?
You need to be prepared in the neighborhoods. Kids, once again, they may not be crossing at the corners where they're supposed to. They may see their friend across the street and just dart across. You just need to give yourself extra time, especially when you're in the neighborhoods. Just be prepared for whatever could happen. So.
I think what the point is we're trying to get across is that we're going to see an influx in kids. I mean, right now we see them throughout the day off and on because it's summertime, but starting Wednesday, August 3rd, we're going to see them in the morning and in the afternoons for sure. Afternoon, do you know what time school lets out?
The Cottonwood Oak Creek School District staggers the times. I believe it's 3 and 3:30.
Okay, so right around there. And then we've got Mingus as well, and then you've got the elementary school and the charter schools as well. So we've got to think about all the kids that are going to be going back to school. If I have a child, maybe there's a thing we can talk to the parents about a little bit too. If I have a child that is going to be riding their bike, say, from the house to school, maybe a little stranger danger education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always, talk to your kids beforehand so that they know what to do if they're confronted by somebody. Make sure your kids know that the bike, if somebody were to stop them, the bike is just an object. What they need to do is they need to get some help if they feel uncomfortable. And the best thing a kid can do is just yell. Mm-hmm. If a kid starts screaming, help, help, it's going to attract attention. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way. And somebody that's trying to do something bad to a kid is not going to want any attention. And that's one of the greatest things they can do is if they start yelling, chances are the bad person's going to go ahead and just get out of there.
Ditch that bike, ditch the scooter, ditch the skateboard, start screaming and running, and yell the opposite direction.
Yep.
Simple as that, huh?
Yep.
And hopefully that'll be enough. Okay. You know what? Let's take our first break. We're going to take it a little bit early. We're going to come back and talk school buses because this is a big deal. The school buses always seem to be kind of a challenge for folks, including myself and everybody. The laws around school buses are interesting. Cottonwood Police Officer Roger Scarum in studio today. Back to school safety for you. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Job.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Okay.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Welcome back to Countywide. Cottonwood Police Officer Roger Scarum in studio today. We're talking about back-to-school safety because school is going back in session over the next month. All the schools will be going back. By Labor Day weekend, they should all be back in session again. All right, so we've talked about school zones. We've talked about the what if and watch out for the kids darting around. We've talked about kids traveling to and from school on their own. There's a little bit of stranger danger there. School buses.
Oh, yeah.
The big yellow, orange buses going down the road. There's quite a few laws pertaining to those, and let's start with that. If I got a school bus, what are some of the rules I need to think about?
You see a school bus, if you're coming up on a school bus, you got to try to anticipate that it may be stopping to load children. So kind of be watching because you may not remember where the school bus stops are, and some of them are in pretty busy areas.
Some of them could have changed from last year.
Exactly. So there's just be prepared for this bus to stop. If it starts slowing down, don't try to zip past it before it puts its lights on, because remember, there might be a kid that trying to dart over to the bus. Be prepared and just go ahead and slow down. And if it starts, puts a sign out and starts its flashing lights, then you are required to stop.
Okay, so there you go. If the school bus stops, got the arm deployed, lights are flashing, you got to stop behind
Yes.
it. You can't go around it. You can't go past it. You got to stop. Now, what about? Let's take Highway 89A right out front of the stations here. Okay, we've got
Yes.
a 4-lane road, 2 lanes both directions. What are some of the rules when it pertains to that?
Traffic in both directions must stop.
Okay.
And a lot of people get confused on that. They think if the bus is on the other side of the road that they don't have to stop. And we remind them that they are required to stop. So all traffic in both lanes has to stop.
Okay. So there, that I think that's an important one there because I didn't know that one until a couple of years ago. We did this show before. We've talked about this before, but okay. So now, what if it's a divided highway?
If it's a divided highway, they don't have to, but here in Cottonwood, we really don't have any divided highways where the school buses are at, so that really doesn't play in. But if you are in an area where there's a divided highway, then they don't have to stop on this opposite side.
Okay, alrighty. Does the bus have to be, the stop sign has to be deployed and lights flashing? I mean, what if they just have the sign out?
The drivers are trained, and so they are supposed to have both the sign and the light. Play on the side of caution. If you see just the lights flashing but not the sign, go ahead and stop anyway. Because you never know what's might have happened. Maybe they had a mechanical issue. Maybe the lights stopped working for whatever reason, but you still need to stop.
Better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
I think just about any school bus that gets hit in a traffic accident always gets in the news. And it's not because we're talking about who got hurt or didn't get hurt. It's always that reminder of, look, we got this bus full of kids and somebody ran into it.
Yes.
And there's been that. So it's really kind of a reminder to all of us throughout the school year that the buses are out there. We've got to be watching out for them, and we've got to watch out for the kids as well. All right, have we covered school good, do you think? Think we've got this school stuff? Maybe we should talk about the high school kids a little bit. Okay, because I know Fur and 260 tends to be kind of a busy intersection when Mingus is back in session. Yep. So what do we got for some of the young new drivers out there that are still in school?
A lot of the kids will try to leave at lunch to go down and get something to eat. Lunchtime seems to be a real problem time because everybody's leaving at exactly the same time. Just try to take your time. Try to make sure you obey all the traffic laws. Yielding when you're coming out of that school driveway to the school. The kids get in a hurry, they try to jump out. We'll get a lot of accidents out there on Fur right in front of the school. They'll pull out in front of somebody. And that car in front of you, if it pulls out quickly, remember, it may have to stop quickly because of traffic in front of it. So if you're pulling out and he hits his brakes at the same time, it's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Slow down there, you young drivers. Just slow down a little bit. Everyone's going to get to lunch. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. They're not going to run out of food. Well, they'll have food for you. Okay, so there we go. That takes care of kind of some of the back to school stuff, I think. Now I want to get your perspective on a few things.
Okay.
You're out there. I know you're on that motorbike. I've seen you on the Mingus Avenue extension sitting there right at the bridge at 25 miles an hour, and I've seen you there, trying to get people to slow down through there, and that's really what you do. You're trying to get people to slow down and do the speed limit.
Our job is to try to educate drivers and try to change driving behaviors. So that's what we're trying to do, and trying to get people just to think about what they're doing.
How is our driving behavior, Roger? Well, really, what is it like for you to be out there on the road on a motorbike? You're on a motorcycle. What is it like? What are you seeing? Because you've been doing it for a long time.
Been police officer 17 and a half years.
So you've seen a lot of, and I bet you've heard some really great excuses as well. But what are some of the things you see that we're doing wrong out there?
The biggest thing is people are just in a hurry. They're just trying to get. I mean, how many times you've been going down the road, somebody passed you, doing 20 miles an hour faster than you, then you get up to the next traffic light and they're stopped right in front of you. Mm-hmm. So they
beat me by 10 seconds.
Yeah, and they didn't really get anywhere because they still got caught up at the next light. So just take your time, get there alive. And people, the fail to yield. Well, one of our biggest issues we have is people failing to yield, leaving private driveways. One of our real main areas is Food City, right there. People coming out trying to make a left-hand turn onto 89A, and the cars in the curb lane will be backed up for the traffic light, and so you'll get somebody in the curb lane that'll stop and wave somebody out. Well, as they come out, the people in the fast lane don't see them, and they'll get hit usually on the driver's side door, and it's usually a pretty good, injury type of accident.
Yeah, it's usually a T-bone right there.
And the person that's coming out is always the one that's held responsible for the accident, because even though they can't see the air lane, they still can't pull out till it's clear. So if I'm coming out, somebody waves me out, I'll just say no, thank you, and wave them on and just wait.
We're not supposed to, are we? We're not supposed to wave people out.
No.
I mean, it's courteous and it's nice, but really, we do see that accident on a regular basis.
Well, in all my years, I've never had the person that waved them out stop and wait for the police to arrive.
Okay. All right. So I see what you're saying. Okay, so that's probably a good thing we shouldn't be doing. How about the light's yellow? I think I can make it. Because I know we've had enforcement campaigns in the past.
Yes.
With the red lights, especially at 216 89A there, and then the bypass end 89.
People think a yellow light means I'm supposed to speed up. No, yellow light means prepare to stop.
We're all guilty of that one, Roger, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's once again, it gets to people just in a hurry. And people need to remember that every light is a little bit different on the timing of that yellow light. And now most of our police cars have cameras in them. So when we get the red light runners, we capture it on video. And people are surprised when we go to court and we play that video, and they thought they made the light, and it shows that they weren't even anywhere close.
I believe that. So we're watching for those as well. How about the left turn? You get the green arrow. Okay, so you got your left turns going, but then there's always one or two vehicles that are sitting there because the light has turned green now and you got traffic going through there. How many can make it on that yellow arrow even when it's now red? Because I know that can be frustrating for the other folks waiting for all that traffic to get out of the intersection.
Per state law, if you're already into the intersection, which means you're past the elongation of the curb line, you still have the right of way to go, or you can still go. So, but you have to be, even if the light turns red, it's not considered running a red light.
Mm-hmm. But that doesn't give the 2-3 cars behind me that weren't out there time to get through there. Okay, that's folks I'm kind of thinking about right there. All right, I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
We're coming to the end already. Cottonwood Police Officer Roger Scarum in studio today. We're talking back to school safety and just general traffic issues as well. So this is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. but I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Welcome back to Countywide. Just a couple minutes left in the program. Cottonwood Police Officer Roger Scarum in studio with us today. Traffic stops. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
You've had plenty of them that you've done. How should I act if I'm being stopped by you? What would you like to see from me? Because when I was a kid and I got pulled over on 89A between here and Sedona or whatever, I remember I used to open the door, get out, meet the officer halfway back, have my wallet in hand, and then one day the officer said, "Get back in your car." That's different. Okay. But that's the way it is, and it's changed even more so since then. So what am I supposed to be doing when I get pulled over?
If you're pulled over, go ahead and stay in the vehicle. Keep your hands in sight. The officer will approach the vehicle. He may approach on the driver's side, may approach on the passenger side, depending on the situation. Just follow the officer's commands. But it's real important to stay in the vehicle, because if you jump out, the officer doesn't know if you're jumping out to run, if you're jumping out to shoot him, or what your intentions are.
Right.
So, especially with, recent current events, just stay in the vehicle, keep your hands in sight. If it's at night, turn on your dome lights so the officer can see as he's walking up, and then just do what the officer tells you to do. He's probably going to ask for your license, registration, proof of insurance. If you happen to have a weapon in the vehicle, make sure you tell the officer about the weapon. This is Arizona. A lot of people carry weapons. It's not that big of a deal, but just let the officer know, hey, I do have a weapon on my side. That way it's no surprise to us.
Okay, so keep my hands up here. Wait till you get up to the window, and then your direction is going to be license registration. Then you're going to be able to see where my hands are going.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Worst traffic speeding excuse in the history as you as a police officer?
I think the worst one was a lady that said she was speeding because she had to use the restroom, but yet she just passed a gas station.
Okay. All right. Okay. Worst red light running excuse?
Oh, boy, that's a tough one. I've heard a lot of them. I think because my dinner is late at home.
Dinner's late at home?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of them out there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We've actually got 60 seconds left. I asked Roger, I said, so how is Pokemon Go going in Cottonwood? Any troubles with that?
It's been different. I actually had one couple that was driving in the car. The passenger was playing it, and the driver, he was listening to her instructions, so they were weaving all over. I thought I had a DUI driver. They whipped into a parking lot real quick. By the time I turned around, came back, they were pulling back out of the parking lot. Yeah, it's been interesting. Some places they have people actually get hit by traffic. So if you're playing it, just be safe. Make sure you know about your surroundings, you know where you're at, and don't get so consumed in the game that you're not aware of what's going on.
Don't be the driver while you're playing it either. Yeah. That's for sure. Don't be the driver. Okay. Officer Scarum, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate your time very much. It's hopefully we'll get everybody back and forth to school real safe this year. All right, that's today's Countywide. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will talk to you again next time.